Alright, so I'm gonna be quiet as possible. Alright, so update on the ACG challenge. So far it's not really looking too good. Just want to go over two trades. Most of the trades that I actually made. Let me just show you my notion. So right now we're down 5.5% on phase 2. It's been a slow decline since last week. The only time I was back at break even was here on Tuesday, but this was unrealized profits. I'm gonna go over what happened here. So essentially this week we had about 3 trades that I took. The first one being on AUD USD, all of which were losses and 2 wins. And yeah, so I only took 4 trades this week. Well, good trades, and I'll go a bit into why that is. So first one is this one right here, where it was obviously AUD USD. We had a market structure shift to the upside, a break of structure as well, followed with an IPL. So reason why this one failed was just due to, like, even though my confluences showed up on the lower time frame, I failed to identify that this higher time frame order block on the 15-minute was actually mitigated. There shouldn't be any reason for me to take a trade. I think I put in my notes as well that so the market conditions on this setup was not perfect because it was still consolidating, so it was going sideways. So most of the time when price is going sideways, the market can be unpredictable, especially like if you have all your confluences. Anything can pretty much happen if you don't have a clear bias on the higher time frame market. This one I lost 0.375%, which isn't so much, but I aimed for a 4RR. Honestly, this setup wasn't bad, neither were the confluences. They were pretty good. The only thing I say that didn't really work out was identifying the actual bias of the market at the time, which was neither bullish or bearish. And we can see here on the next trade, here, it was actually another loss. I don't have a second picture for it, but pretty much the same mistake. This one actually followed right after this one, the first trade of the week. So again, markets were unclear, and I forced in another setup just because I lost on my first trade and I wanted to make it back. So I really have to focus on the longevity mostly. And you can see you'll see throughout the week, although it is Thursday and the market are still open, I decided to take a break, just reasons because this week has just been a terrible week in terms of like trading. So it's not really, there's no point in digging myself a deeper hole in my account. Yeah, this one too was another one where I just didn't follow my bias. So this was actually the reaction off of the 15-minute, and it was going to the downside. But again, higher time frame still shows on my first setup that the 15-minute is very unclear. So there's no clear direction for the market yet. So unless you wait for an actual breakup to the upside of a higher time frame structure, then that's where you could, if it breaks above, then you could look for longs. But if it's like accumulation going sideways, not really breaking highs, it's not a good condition for you to take trades. And that's what I learned. Well, that's what I've been kind of going through lately with my failed trades. Anyways, the 2 last trades, well, 3, I just have yet to put my third one. The third one, these 2 trades are by far the best trades in my career as a trader. And honestly, reasons why is because this was actually a 6.75 risk to reward while maintaining my risk. And I had actually 2 open setups at the same time, a 6.04 risk to reward and a 6.75, both risking about 1% total. So these were perfect, and I'll show you why. I wrote down here a big reason, like a whole paragraph, like a whole essay on just the reasoning, the bias, and like my thought process throughout this trade and what I should learn. So AUD USD, this one was taken in New York session. So reason why is because I noticed here on the 15-minute that it actually tapped in as price created this market structure shift and was accumulating throughout the week. I took my 2 failed trades over here, and I waited for price to break structure and tap into this 3-minute, 1-minute point of interest, as well as sweep the liquidity up here and tap into this 15-minute fair value gap. Once 9 a.m. open, we swept the highs of London, which is here. Right away we start to proceed to the downside. It was a good thing that I had my limit order, so I was immediately tapped in, so which was pretty good. And I targeted the lows of London. So this trade was essentially a mix of my smart money concepts and the ICT silver bullet, where price sweeps up the London highs before going down towards the lows. Let's go to the second trade. But again, for my first trade, you can see all these confluences were respected. Amazing setup, liquidity, IPL, point of interest, fair value gaps, you have everything. Liquidity sweep on the 9 a.m. And London highs. Bro, it was just perfect. Anyways, for the second one, I'll go into reason why these were not so good trades at the end. So this one here, same thing. Second trade following the first, following the third trade, which is the fourth. So price swept the liquidity, started heading to the downside, and started to see price slow down a bit, but we can see price created our lower time frame confluences. So since this is a 15-minute higher time frame confluence, it automatically tells you that it is a trend to the downside. So you could look for lower time frame entries as well for a second setup. So this is where I found this right here. Oh, I think I only have 2 pictures. Let me see this one here. Oh my, okay, hold on, let me just copy this, paste that there. Okay, so as you can see, we had our 1-minute point of interest right here on the scale down to the lower time frame. This is on the 3-minute. Internal point high, break of structure, accumulation of liquidity, and bam. Right on Asian, I think this was around 8:30. 8:30, this hit, and immediately started heading down to the downside. I was already up, and I think at this time I was down already 3 or 4%. And this was an amazing trade which brought me back up to break even. So now I'll go into reasons why this trade ended up being bad and break even. So first of all was, although yes, I did set my take profit here, and technically yes, the chart did hit my take profit. Reasons why it didn't go through was because apparently the spread. So spread just did not hit the spread just didn't execute my take profits on both positions, where right after it just started sweeping up to the upside. And I think I was at work at the time and I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh, like, no, it's not going to be a good one. I ended up closing both positions at break even. And at this point, I was like, I start to regret what I was doing. And then that's when I started to FOMO. So essentially, I started taking trades that started opening market orders. And although, yes, I was in profit, I was, I think, 3% profit at this point, which I gained a 1% win, so I recovered. I just did not close my charts for that day, and I just kept going, adding more market orders, random lot sizes, and I started losing more and more money. And this is where you could see the account. Although it did hit break even at one point, it immediately started heading back down, and boom. For that, I took a day off, and then I got back on the charts once again, and really, I took this trade right here, which, as you can see, again, it did not respect any of my confluences except for the lower time frame, but the higher time frame was just not there. But afterwards, you see break of structure, internal break, IPL, liquidity, and boom, I lost 0.5%. Now the account is down at 5.9%, I think. Honestly, I think this had to happen just because it really did teach me a lesson on controlling my emotions. And really, one thing I really learned here, I think I could put in my notes before I end this video. This is amazing trade overall. Was it like I'd say both of these trades were some of the best I ever had in my career as a trader. But at the end, I just could not control my emotions, so I ended up taking more trades that I should have. Instead of closing the charts right away with a small win that did follow my longevity plan, but I completely rejected it at the last minute, set up my confluences. So my data on these trades have been pretty good, to be honest. It's really just the emotional aspect that I need to work on more, which is pretty much FOMO, impatience, and sometimes I do forget that I'm in this challenge for longevity and not really for the quick results. So anyways, that's pretty much it. We're gonna see how I perform next week, and yeah.